As seen in the climate negotiations in recent times, an appreciation of need of the hour, the government and non-governmental entities are making commitment to help countries implement their net zero pledges. However, despite these commitments, the global average temperature in 2100 is expected to rise to around 2.1 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. This falls short of the goals stipulated in the Paris Agreement, which calls for limiting the global temperature to 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial era levels by the end of the century. So therefore, a pivotal move to ban the global emissions curve becomes imperative. Immediate climate action is especially critical for a post-pandemic future. In this context, renewable energy transition is vital to building a resilient and secure future energy system. India and renewable energy, why renewable energy adoption need to be encouraged? Why renewable energy adoption needs to be encouraged? So a historic rise was seen in CO2 emissions in 2021 due to a sudden spike in oil and coal consumptions. With just 2% of pandemic recovery finance spent on clear energy emissions are expected to reach an all-time high in 2023. So, although an energy economy founded on clean pathways is emerging, energy transformation has a long way to go. So, what initiatives has India taken to facilitate renewable energy transition, RE transitions? So, in 2019, India announced that it would take up its installed capacity of renewable energy to 450 gigawatt by 2030. So at COP26, India committed 50% of its total power generation from renewable energy. The production linked incentive scheme, like PLI scheme, is another initiative of the government of India with respect to enhancing the manufacturing sector for the production of raw materials for renewable energy. So the PM like Kusum Pradhan Mantri Kisan Urja Suraksha and Utthan Abhiyan, aims to provide financial and water security to farmers through harnessing a solar energy capacity of 25,750 MW by 2022. So solarization of water pumps is a step in distributed power provided at the doorstep of the consumer. So the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy on its website also hosts Akshay Urja portal and India Renewable Idea Exchange portal. Like we can say IRIX. So IRIX is a platform that promotes the exchange of ideas among energy conscious Indians and the global community. This is the IRIX. So India's decision to achieve net zero by 2070 has been held globally as a game changer. So the country has made a reasonable progress by reaching nearly 110 gigawatt of renewable energy by the end of March 2022. It has also committed $35 billion of the $122 billion in energy related funding to renewables, almost twice the amount allotted to fossil fuels. How will renewable energy be economically significant? Question is this: how? So renewables form a vital components of green recovery, especially in a fast developing country like India. The renewable sector is also not just competitive economically but also holds immense potential for job creation, since clean energy technologies such as solar are far more labor intensive than a conventional energy sources. It has been estimated that in reaching its goal of 500 gigawatt of non-fossil fuel energy sources by 2030. So India could create as many as 3.4 million new clean energy jobs, providing employment to over a million people. This is expected to come largely from distributed renewable energy, which will create opportunities for local employment. So such efforts might also encourage the start of new ventures and help scale of domestic businesses. India also has the potential to become a manufacturing hub for upcoming technologies like green hydrogen and energy storage. So, from the economy point of view, renewable sources provide the market and revenue assurance which no other resources can provide. So on this point, a question we can raise that what are the challenges? What are the challenges pertaining to renewable energy? So impact on environment. While renewable energy generation is a zero carbon, there are emissions at other points of its life cycle, such as during raw material extraction and equipment manufacturing. There are also renewable energies detrimental impacts on biodiversity and ecology. So, shortage of skilled personnel. India's power sector has always faced shortage of skilled personnel, not only in the private sector but also within DISCOM, we can say grid management companies, regulators and policy makers, and this problem is being compounded further in the current scenario. So capacity building within India through skill development is of utmost priority. Well-developed trained programs are the need of the hour in India. So installation cost issue, the high initial cost of installation is one of the major hurdles in the development of renewable energy. Although the development of a coal plant requires high investment, it is known that wind and solar power plants also require a huge investment, a very big investment it requires. So in addition to this, storage systems of the generated energy are expensive and represent a real challenge in terms of megawatt production. So, resource locator, most renewable energy plants that share their energy with the grid require large area of space. In most cases, renewable energy sources are dictated by location, which can be off-putting to users. Firstly, some renewable energy sources are simply not available in different regions. Secondly, the distance between the renewable energy source and the grid is a major aspect in terms of cost and efficiency. So that's a major cause, I think. So in addition to this, renewable energy sources depend on weather, so climate and geographical location. So therefore, meaning that one type of energy generation is not appropriate for the reason. It's not appropriate for this reason. So what should be the way? What should be the way forward global partnership? Here we can raise this question. So what should be the way forward? So global partnership, if I am talking about that, global partnership can open new channels of support through technology or financial resources being shared. So for science and technologies to inform climate action policies, developing countries need ambitious, concrete research and development. So funding and supporting funding infrastructure. That's the main thing. So developing country can also integrate cost-effective indigenous technologies into energy planning. Distributed renewable energy in which power from renewable sources is generated near a point of use instead of centralized plants. It can help achieve the global South's ambitious renewable energy target, as well as we can say increase access to reliable and modern energy. If a favorable regulatory and policy environment is created, so DRE applications such as rooftop solar can decarbonize the developing world's manufacturing supply chain. Solar agri pumps also could provide solar-based irrigation solutions, and the faster implementation of electric vehicles into the urban freight. Increasing the scale of DRE would offer an opportunity to meet renewable energy targets and provide a return to investor. Heeding WWF's suggestion, there are some suggestions. So there is a need to develop a robust strategic framework to boost the renewable power sector by learning from other countries who have successfully devised green recovery packages. The World Wildlife Fund for Nature, like we can say in short WWF's report on green recovery through renewable, mentions that as part of the green recovery package, the priorities should be fourfold, focusing on job creation, injecting liquidity for financial relief, enhancing economic competence for improved trade prospects, ensuring a green energy transition, a holistic view which can examine a range of solutions that complement each other and identify key elements including technology, development, manufacturing, storage, power generation, and distribution will be very effective. Distribution is also a very effective for this. So renewable energy as a responsible energy we can understand, though it shouldn't stand merely for renewable energy but also for responsible energy. To avoid negative impacts, the renewable energy, like we can say responsible energy, industry must act on 4 principles. So actively promoting a universal labor, land and human rights. So protecting, restoring and nurturing, resilient, thriving ecological systems. Committing to participatory governance principles, recognizing that resilient communities and an inclusive workforce are critical to their success. The leading renewable energy, like responsible energy, we can say sector players must build a shared understanding of how to avoid the extractive mindset that drove much of the fossil fuel based energy production. They must also study environmental and social impact assessments to prevent and mitigate negative impacts and enhance their renewable energy procurement process, and including designing for circularity and traceability in the supply chain. So climate financing, calling for climate finance of $1 trillion, the Prime Minister of India highlighted in his COP26 addresses that developing nations cannot achieve ambitious target of net zero with older unfulfilled climate financial targets. It's can be a financial target. It is in this regard only. So energy poor countries need funding to accelerate their carbon cutting goals and invest in new technologies to decouple their growth trajectories from fossil fuels. So this investment from climate financing can used as first concentrated push for clean electrification through scaling up to deployment of renewable energy technologies. In second phase, we can see a focus on energy efficiency and measures to lower energy demand through technology deployment and behavioral changes. In third, we see cutting methane emission from fossil fuel operations. And now the last, fourth, investing in clean energy innovation. So these are the 4 components which is very necessary. Thanks for watching.